Stephen A., your reaction to LeBron James putting up 50K?
Well, it's a phenomenal feat. It's never been done. The man is absolutely sensational. He's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. I saw Wendy talking on Get Up this morning, and I've decided that, on this particular morning, I'm going to make some news. I know, and we all know, I'm putting nobody ahead of Michael Jordan. Nobody. Okay? And I stand on it.
I'm going to listen to this.
Because my definition of the GOAT is you at your best against anybody else at their best. What did it equal? But in listening to Brian Windhorst, bringing up this nugget, there's nobody who has been as good for as long, meaning longevity, a sustained level of pristine excellence. LeBron James is the GOAT in that category. I don't think LeBron's best eclipses Michael Jordan's best.
I need you to define what you're saying by that.
LeBron, in other words, what Wendy said, nobody has been this good for this long. And I'm saying to you, because that's the reality, I feel the way that I feel that Jordan at his best is the greatest that I've ever seen. But Jordan wasn't that good for that long. Not this period. This is 22 years. LeBron James wins Player of the Month in 2005, and 20 years later, he wins Player of the Month. I mean, the brother's averaging 29, 10, and 7. They shoot 40-something% from the field, from three-point range, rather. 55% from the field. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to sit up here today, although he annoyed the living hell out of me last week with all of that nonsense he was talking. In the end, the greatness that he has put on display, for as long as he has put on display, I'll even go a step further, knowing how I feel about Jordan, and I think anybody that knows basketball agrees with me. I actually think it's time to not even have the debate anymore, because that's how great LeBron James has been for as long as he has been that great. I can stand down and acknowledge that, because this is absolutely phenomenal. But it's not the 50,000 points. It's not even the way he's looked last night. It's not even the way he's looked this month. It's the fact that I'm watching this brother with Anthony Davis, without Anthony Davis, with Luka, without Luka. I mean, this dude right here, and I'm looking at a guy at 40 years of age who's in better shape than 98% of the league, if not more, at age 40 in his 22nd season. LeBron James, especially on a morning like this, deserves all the props in the world, and I'm going to give it to him.
So when I watched The Last Dance, which we all did, incredible piece of art, there's this scene where Michael Jordan is laying in a hotel. He's laying on a couch in a hotel, and he's basically telling the filmmaker, the cameraman, I'm retiring after this year because I can't take this. I am mentally and physically wiped. I just can't do it anymore. And that's what happened. He won the title, the 6th title in 8 years, and he did retire again. He came back a few years later with the Wizards, but he did retire. And that was the moment when I watched that, when I understood where LeBron's path and Jordan's path are different. Because while I can't compare what Jordan dealt with, especially with the loss of his father in the middle of his career, with what LeBron has dealt with, what LeBron gets knocked for is that he's had these 6 losses in the finals. They say, well, Jordan was 6-0, LeBron is 4-6.
Correct.
But LeBron has always picked himself back up, kept going, repeatedly rebuilt this team, picked it back up. If this team that the Lakers have right now makes to the finals, and I'm not favoring that, but I'm telling you that every day that goes by, it becomes a little bit more of a possibility.
Without question, undeniable.
That would be a 5th different iteration of a team that LeBron would take to the finals, because you got the first time in Cleveland, you got the Heat, you got the second time in Cleveland, you got the Lakers, and this would be the 5th different iteration. Can you imagine taking 5 different teams when they were nothing? I mean, the Heat had something going. They had Dwayne Wade, but they were not a serious contender. Would be able to do that? And that is his case. That is his case. His case is not that he was better than Jordan at their peak, because I don't think that's an argument.
It isn't. No, it isn't.
And if that's the argument that people want to have, the argument is the breadth of it.
Right.
And that was true 3-4 years ago, but it's really getting made now
Correct.
in year 22.
Ooh, I mean, I'm so glad that we're doing this because I think in sport, anytime someone is excellent and sustains it for a long time, we have the propensity to be like, oh, that's what he does. That's what LeBron does. And so I think the 50,000 number gives us a chance to really stop and take a step back. Now, it is only then supported by the fact that this team is now sitting in the second place in the Western Conference. But when I think of this, like, I immediately am like, who is going to do that again? Even with all of the technology and guys taking care of their bodies, like, it still is such an incredible feat. I don't know that we'll ever even be close to it being duplicated. Like, and that to me just continues to be a testament to what he's been able to do and sustain over this period of time.
I think a lot of people, I think that it I can't rule out the possibility because there's always a pioneer.
Correct.
Emulators, imitators, they always follow. There's something, that's why we're so, history teaches us to be reluctant to just usurp somebody over another, over a predecessor, because if Dr. J and Connie Hawkins didn't do what they did, what would Michael Jordan have known to do? If Michael Jordan didn't do what he did, what would Kobe Bryant and Vince Carter have known would have known to do?
Right.
You know, when you look at the great shooters, I mean, we talk about the 80s, people don't realize. Remember Ricky Pierce? Remember, you remember Del Curry? You had some great shooters. Dale Ellis, for example. Downtown Freddie Brown for the Seattle Supersonics before they moved to Oklahoma City. The list goes on and on. Some of the great shooters. This is before Ray Allen, this is before Reggie Miller, this is before Allen Houston and all of this stuff. The great shooters. And of course, I brought up Del Curry because we know who the greatest shooter God has ever created. We know who the hell that is. That's Steph Curry. Would you have even thought to be that way, to develop that marksmanship, that skill, if it wasn't for what you had seen prior to your arrival? To be 40 years of age, and to be in better shape than 98% of the professional athletes he plays and performs against is what we have to marvel at for two reasons. Number one, that's just an incredible thing to say about somebody. But number two, it speaks to his level of dedication. The one thing you can't do is cheat your way to conditioning.
Right.
You can't cheat your way to it. You can't, there's no way around that. I don't care how skilled you are. You can't just wake up and be in shape.
Yeah, no, you have to work at it.
You got to work at it.
Can I just pause you for
and he does
a second,
that.
Stephen A., because obviously I sit on the show every day, and often I hear the GOAT debate, right? Especially with Shannon Sharp, who we know is a huge LeBron fan, and you're always the proponent for MJ. I mean, just earlier this week, he was going to pull out a full GOAT costume.
A full GOAT costume.
A full GOAT costume.
He better not do that.
And I understand what you're saying is we're kind of debating apples and oranges at this point when we're looking at sustained greatness. We're treating LeBron almost like a Tom Brady, right? And then you talk about more of like at their peak with an MJ, maybe like a Patrick Mahomes is the best we've ever seen. And maybe he'll end up having the sustained greatness. I'm just curious why last night you just decided, I'm going to put this debate to rest, and all of a sudden you feel like it's no longer a debate?
Because I think that when listening to Wendy this morning talk about the breadth of his career, okay, you can't ignore that category. You can't ignore somebody that's continuously great for 22 years. Jordan only played 15. Now, the reason why I will come to the defense of Jordan is because at Jordan's best, number one, I've never seen anybody better, and that includes LeBron.
I think LeBron would agree with that.
That's right. Well, I don't know about that.
Maybe
I don't
not
know publicly. Well, damn it, that's what we talking about, okay? All right? Because, you got to admit that, okay?
All right.
So that's number one. Number two, let's not ignore the level of physicality that once existed in the NBA. It's physically taxing on players to play in today's game because of the speed and the athleticism that they have to go up against on a night-and-night basis. I understand that kind of physical taxation. I'm talking about back in the day, you had cats that would get mugged. Jordan got mugged by the bad boy Pistons. The Knicks under Pat Riley's era tried to mug him. Think about this for a second, Eminem. Think about this, Wendy. Yeah, Patrick Ewing. Sure, yeah, Patrick Ewing. What did they go out and do? They got Oakley. They got Anthony Mason. You understand? Before him, they had Ken Bannister and Xavier McDaniels. Talk to the league. Talk to historians. These brothers, Molly, would roll up. They'd find you in a hotel lobby or a restaurant before the game. I had one dude, I ain't going to say his name because I don't want to put him out on Front Street like that. He got in trouble with Derek Comey. You know who I'm talking about. Derek Coleman was in the elevator. I heard you was talking about me. And dude was like, no, I ain't talking about you. Oh, you calling my mother a liar? Because his mama, Derek Coleman's mother had told him. And the dude was like this. You understand what I'm saying? He said, I'm going to bust your ass when I see you after this game.
Yeah.
And the dude went into the game and scored 2 points because he sat there petrified all game long. The kind of stuff that happens. See, I don't know about stuff like that, but they do. And I'm just saying to you, but it was real. It wasn't talk.
Yeah.
These cats would catch each other. I mean, in the game, it was physical. Off the court, it would be physical. There were some injury reports that took place. That injury didn't occur on the court or in practice. I mean, they saw each other. You see what I'm saying? LeBron and I had to deal with that. The level of physicality that exists in today's game drastically is diminished from what it once was, which is another reason why Jordan gets that credit. But again, the longevity of LeBron James speaks for itself.
Can I ask something else that kind of came to mind when you were speaking? Do you think it's fair to argue that it's more unlikely to see a LeBron James, now if we're crowning him the GOAT of sustained greatness, longevity, consistency, resiliency, all of those things, than an MJ, a special talent? Because
yes, I would say that. Because I think the thing, and we talked about it this morning, the other part about this 50,000 is not just a regular season total.
That's right.
So you've got to get multiple finals, 9 finals or whatever the number is. You got to be 10. You got to be performing at that level, and you've got to do it for 22 years. I think we'll see guys play for 22 years, but we'll see guys take different roles in their rosters, and we've probably already seen that. Yeah, we just saw VC do it. You know, they become this mentor, this coach 'em up guy, this culture guy. But if they get to the finals this year, it's going to be because of what LeBron James has done alongside of Luka Doncic. This is not a passive 22 at all.
I just remember Dwayne Wade, when LeBron went back to Cleveland, 2014, I remember Dwayne saying, I don't know how he can do it again because of what we went through building this team up. He goes, I could not mentally do that again. He's done it twice more and might be on the verge of thrice. We'll see. Luka's obviously there to potentially help him.
Yeah.
But climbing that mountain, this is why I've said this for years. LeBron's 6 finals losses are not a blemish on his legacy. They are additive because he has always risen back up.
Fair, but one of them is a blemish. We ain't gonna
one
lie
of them
on
is
national
a diamond,
television.
but one of them is a diamond.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. A matter of fact, and I've never held the San Antonio Spurs loss, the first one, to him in Cleveland. I mean, hell, he carried that Cleveland on his back.
Okay.
I've never held that against him. And I've never held the San Antonio second loss when D. Wade wasn't healthy, he had a bad knee, and LeBron carried them and all of that other stuff. Golden State is Golden State. You're going to lose to KD with the Splash Brothers, all right? Even though you had Kyrie and Love, I knew you're going to lose that one too, okay? I get it. Can't get past the Dallas loss.
Agree.
Can't get past that.
He has one he shouldn't have.
That's right.
And he has one that he doesn't have one that he should have.
Okay.
I think we got past that he didn't play in the All-Star game, though, now. we might have gotten past that.
And let's also be very clear why it's held against him. It's held against him, not because he lost the finals. It's how he lost.